Hi, my name is County Council Member Deni Taveras. I am your council member for District 2, representing the areas of Adelphi, Langley Park, Lewisdale, Carroll Highlands, the greater Chilham area, including Avondale, Green Meadows, and the city of Hyattsville, North Brentwood, and Mount Rainier. This is a meeting of to discuss the proposed budget for FY22 in Prince George's County. And we're just going to wait a couple of more minutes to see if we could have a couple of more people join us. If you need Spanish language translation, please note that there is a globe on the bottom right hand of the screen, and you could click on the globe, click on your preferred language, and that's how you will be able to hear us. Let us know if you're having any challenges. Si necesita, hola, soy Deni Taveras, la concejal del condado de Prince George's County y la vicepresidenta del consejo. Hoy estamos hablando sobre el presupuesto del 2022 en el condado de Prince George. Vamos a tener traducción simultánea y si desea, por favor, oír esta presentación en español, por favor, presione el globo en la derecha abajo de su pantalla y escoja su lenguaje preferido. We'll wait a couple of more minutes till 11:10. Hi, Imani, good to see you. We should have had a little music, right? I think that would have helped stir this up. Let me see if I can. For next time, we could have a little music playing. So right now, I wanted to go over a couple of things. Just a quick reminder for those people who arrived late, we do have simultaneous translation. You can click on the globe to select your preferred language. And it's on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Si desea traducción simultánea, puede ir abajo de su pantalla en la derecha y va a haber un globo y puede escoger su lenguaje preferido. Actually, I really don't want to hold up anybody. I think we should begin. So with that, without further ado, I'll begin the presentation if that's okay with everyone. So hello again, my name is Deni Taveras, and I am the council member for District 2. And let's just go over a couple of the things that are happening. Hold on. In terms of just COVID-19 efforts of what we've been able to do, the current status of the budget. We'll be reviewing some of the proposed revenue and expenses, look at some of the local projects and have a general discussion of what folks would like to see and ask for me to advocate for. In terms of, it's been a tough year, as many of you know, for us due to the pandemic, but I do want to say that our district has risen to the challenge. This was as of August 2020, we were able to provide, as of now, I would say over 2 million pounds of food. At the height of the pandemic, we had over 8 distribution sites that we provided food weekly around the district. And we still have 5, I believe, 5 or 6 distribution sites that we're still providing food on a weekly basis for those families in need. And we're looking to increase not just our food. So we are responsible for the food that comes to Hyattsville, Brentwood, not Brentwood anymore, but Hyattsville, North Brentwood, Mount Rainier, and Langley Park, and Chillum. And so we have, we've been able to provide outside of that almost 69,000 hot meals through the World Central Kitchen, 10,000 local restaurant meals that we purchased as an emergency for families suffering from COVID-19. At our height, we had about 270 volunteers on a weekly basis, particularly through August. We've handed out over, I would say this was out of, at that time, 7.7, but I think now we're probably in the ballpark of like 9,000 to 10,000 masks, 430 face shields, 2.4 diapers, 2,400 diapers, and 8 gallons of hand sanitizer. And if we look at the sanitizer that we have here, it's probably more along 10. So with that, and we've been able to, we'll discuss a little bit about also some of the money that, and this is just out of District 2. And we also provided, I think, about 150, I want to say, $1,000 in rental assistance to those families in most egregious situations. So we're looking to see how we, and I'll talk about what the county is doing in terms of what we've also been able to provide in that area as well. In terms of state aid, this is where you're going to find the monies that are coming into the county through state aid. So HB 589, the BRFA 2021, the creation of state debt. I know that we, Brentwood just received $400,000 thanks to Tanya Harrison on HB 590. The Relief Act, HB 612, and the Blueprint for Maryland's future. That was HB 1372. That's going to be huge for us because we have a majority of Title I schools, and this was something direly needed in our community. So we're looking to, and not only that, this was also part and parcel of the second P3 alternative construction financing negotiations for the second wave of construction of schools. So for us, this is crucial given the fact that we have the highest amount of overcrowding in the county, if not in the state of Maryland. And we've had temporary trailers here for over 50 years. So to us, at least to me, this is the most urgent situation we need to address. HB 218, earned income tax credit, an expansion that allows for a $500 tax benefit to children for any family, including those families that have tax ID, an ITN number, and have filed taxes. In terms of the county, the county's efforts in COVID-19 economic recovery. We've been able to provide $20 million in business recovery initiative. And I would say about 9% of that came to District 2 businesses. Child care initiatives for individuals, again, that's 2 million for daycare centers. Our restaurant resiliency initiatives, 6 million. And again, I would say about 10% of that money came to District 2. And I would say, and then in rental assistance, last year we handed out two waves of emergency rental assistance. One was about 3 million, and then the second one was 10 million. And those, while they were helpful for the families that did receive, the most affected families did not receive enough, which were in our district. As you may be aware, the zip code, or you may not be aware, the zip code of 20783, which is at the heart of Langley Park, is the hardest hit COVID-19 community in the tri-state area. It has the highest numbers within Virginia, DC, and the whole state of Maryland. And despite that, we haven't had one testing site and not one vaccination site here that has been dedicated. So it's been a challenge for us. And this is why I push back hard on what our needs are in representing the needs of our community. And we fought on the rental assistance piece because I felt strongly that the third wave of assistance needed to reflect the community and provide monies to the hardest hit community. So I forced the agency to include an equity lens in their analysis. So now, rather than just provide money undiscriminately to whoever they see fit, they need to see certain metrics, whether they need to assess housing risk, they need to assess social risk, they need to assess COVID-19 risk, and the sum of those risks. So we're looking whether in an area there is a predominance of single family households or not, poverty, and a slew of social determinants that would put this household in a higher percentage for being displaced or made homeless. And we're looking at households that meet the 80% AMI criteria or below. And so because of that, we've been able to address a lot of, at least in this last round, a lot more families in our region. And so we initially had a $25 million that came in, and now we're requesting an additional 27 million. So I think we'll be in a good position to be able to fund the needs of our district as a result of that. So with that, looking at the county budget, this is just a little bit of the timeline. March 15th, we have to receive the county executive, her proposed budget. We're looking it over right now. On April 20th, we review the operating and capital budgets, and we're taking in and assessing the situation for each of the agencies. You could track everything online, but on April 20th, the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning will be doing their presentation, and we'll have a public hearing where you could come in and advocate for the things you'd like to see. On April 20th and May 4th is an opportunity to advocate for the operating, capital, and Board of Education budgets. And these are for 1-year allocation services, and the capital budget covers 6 years of asset investments and allocation. So let's look at the budget in terms of revenue. The total budget this year is 4.53. And I feel a little sorry if I'm going to start throwing a lot of numbers at you, but This is just the name of the beast, I guess. 4.53 billion, that is a 1.3% increase from last time. The general fund is a little bit higher, 1.7% higher, at 3.78 billion. And we have these additional enterprise funds, like the special revenue funds, the enterprise and internal service funds. And those are not as large. So in terms of revenue, the bulk obviously comes from outside in terms of Board of Education, and that's from the state. So that's a 40% of our budget. And then we have the second two tiers, which are property taxes and income taxes, which basically bring the other 40. And then we have a closing of, I want to say, outside aid in terms of grants. So we're a county that heavily depends on grants in order to survive. And you would see that in terms of human services, family services, et cetera, in the health department. So in terms of expenditures, we will be, like we mentioned, that was the total county budget. The school board, as mentioned, is at 2.3 billion. And that's an annual increase of about 64 million, which is significant for us. And in terms of county funds, we're putting forth 786 million. The state, like as I mentioned previously, 1.3, and the federal is 43 million, and that did not change very much. But in this proposal, that includes the P3 for the alternative construction funding projects. As you know, we've committed to funding for the next 30 years, $15 million out of our batch, and similar on the end of the school board. And that's going to be to fund the construction of 6 new schools, including Hyattsville Middle and Adelphi Middle. I think that for us, that was monumental. Pamela Busa-Strother and I worked very closely for a long time. I mean, to me, this is my #1 priority. If you go back, and I recommend it, because I think some people are trying to take credit for this now, I would recommend you looking at who's testified on these issues, and you will see that, that Pam and I have been married to the hips, and individuals like Alvi Escobar and the folks from my staff going up to the T and testify on these issues. We are getting 65 new clinicians for the school board model. Continued universal pre-K will continue, and program continuation on immersion schools. In terms of public safety, as you know, the second outside of the school, the second largest amount of money goes to public safety. 764.1 million, but this is a decrease compared to where we were before. This is a $23 million decrease of where we were. And we'll talk about that in a bit. But in this batch, we're looking to provide 27 new sworn fire and EMS staff, 2 new police recruitment classes, purchasing of turnout gear for fire and smoke detectors for residents, 20 new correction officers, just basically 1 new class, and looking to provide reentry and behavioral health services for Department of Corrections. 3 new positions, actually, including the Director of Race and Equity, and 2 psychologists are going to be needed to address the Police Reform Task Force recommendations. And that's going to be something that we're looking forward to. And the Department of Homeland Security, they're looking for funds to support emergency infrastructure. And in terms of the decrease, we're looking to I'm sorry, Alvi, can you send the link to Magali Salas? She's texting me that she needs to get in. And so, okay. And we're redirecting 23 million to a new mental health facility to open December 2021. The December 2021, that's here in this fall, we will be looking at outpatient care, and then the 16-bed facility will open up in a later year because they're going to need to do major construction and get all the permits, and that's going to take a little bit additional amount of time. So we're estimating worst case scenario 18 months on that particular piece, but hopefully we'll be able to get that done faster. But the money is there, and it took us a little bit more than the 20 million that we had originally allocated. And we're working with Luminous Healthcare on that particular issue. In terms of Prince George's Community College, they'll be receiving 120 million, and that's a decrease of 13.6 million, which is a significant amount in decrease. We're providing 41.7 in terms of county funds, 33 million, again, in state funds. In both ends, again, that's a severe cut to them. In terms of the Promise scholarships, we have dedicated 1.7 million, and thus far to date, we've given out to 450 recipients as of December 2020, with 907,000 given out during FY21. In terms of the Memorial Library System, we've set aside $33 million. And again, that's a decrease of $150,000. And that's also significant for the library system, which has 19 branches. It deals with, I would say, comparable to Baltimore County in terms of size of branches, but we have the largest per capita like employee to services to population ratio compared to anybody else outside of Montgomery County. And yet we do the most with the least amount of money. So that is also something that is stark in terms of the data analysis for the library system. So we've got to do better and figure out ways to sustainably provide additional money and resources for the library system. For us personally, I think that we are looking this particular year to get hurt by the fact that Langley Park Library has been pushed out by 1 year for design. We were able to finish Hyattsville Library, and it will be hopefully opening up this year. If not, but the latest is next year, but we're fairly confident that at this stage, we're just finalizing some things and we're ready to bring in the furniture within a couple of months. So operating funds are provided for technology upgrades that will provide internet to library parking lots, as well as 2 new delivery vehicles and a replacement maintenance truck, because they've been doing so much. I really do applaud all the work the library system has done. They're phenomenal. In terms of economic development, as you all know, since 2012, we initiated a $50 million pot called the Economic Development Incentive Fund. And that has been really rewarding in terms of being able to fund and create and retain jobs and broaden the local tax base, the local commercial tax base, rather than putting the weight of the needs on county residents that live here. And this is our opportunity to promote economic development and assist in the retention of existing businesses. And so this year we're putting in 9 million because this is a rotating fund. So basically we hand out money at low interest rates and they pay us back and we keep the fund just rolling. And so it's been highly successful. In terms of the county's economic development agencies, we'll be allocating 7.8 million. And that's going to be split between the EDC, Employ Prince George's, FSC, and the Conference Visitors Bureau. In terms of the Housing Trust Fund, I'm very excited to say we are going to be allocating $4.2 million, and that will go primarily to fund 2 main programs: Workforce Housing Financing Program and the Home Buyers Assistance. So that's what's happening there. But we just finished passing, and I do mean just in a couple, maybe like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, we just finished passing a new legislation to allow for up to $10 million to fund affordable housing initiatives and the right of first refusal options in our county through a taking of a percentage, 10% out of the recordation tax. But we're not going to start this year because of the economic downturn. And so in terms of infrastructure and community revitalization, we want to focus on $14 million on pedestrian safety improvements, traffic congestions at 22 million, road improvements at 21 million, shopping center revitalizations. We weren't able to get a definitive number based on my conversations, but we have about $1 million set aside on hold. And that's typically how much we've gotten. My ask is for us to invest much more, somewhere in the ballpark of 5 to 10. But and I think we need to start engaging in doing a study of how we want to use our strip malls that are, let's say, not at their prime, because we know that if they're not coming back due to Amazon, we need to start thinking creatively and look beyond just community centers and such. I think we need to look at more creatively at how we're going to use these spaces to ensure that these areas stay commercialized, but provide a different type of service for the community. And then we're also looking at the Green Street Improvement Program at 3.6 million on Eagle Road. And you could drive around there because it's already under construction. In terms of environment, these are some of the enterprise funds that we've mentioned: the Solid Waste Management Fund at 107, Stormwater Management, which is critical right now, at 87 million, Local Watershed Protection and Restoration Fund at 21, and Flood Protection and Drainage Improvement at 16. And those are already specified projects through the CIP. But we can see, I know that we're looking to add at least 1 or 2 projects based on the requests that I've received. Organic composting facility, this is something that's been in discussion for some time now. So hopefully we'll be able to bring this farther along at 18 million. And we're looking at enhancements to the bus transit service and implementation of PDC Link micro transit service, and particularly seeing how we can include Lyft and Uber in our as part of the solution to the pandemic situation we have. And then we want to look at automated vehicle locators, 3G migration, to 4G and 5G for compatible devices. We want to be able to track our buses, our cars and such. And we want to be able to support MDOT bike share and ride share programs all throughout the county. In terms of health and human services, as you can see, these are not very high amounts of money compared to other areas of the county, but they do so much. So the health department is currently at 30 million, and they'll be looking at a health alliance program to support healthcare stakeholders and case management solutions, combating obesity and chronic diseases. That's going to be a program. Early childhood consultants for Child-Friendly County campaign. This is an initiative of the county executive. Ensure access to mental health and substance abuse treatment. Also something that the county executive is very interested in. And we'll be hiring 3 registered nurses for the immunization program. 2 disease control specialists for the communicable disease program, 1 safety auditor, 1 safety officer, 1 auditor, and 3 system analysts for electronic record keeping. In terms of social services, they're at 6 million. And we're looking at a food equity czar. And we always fund the Maryland Money Double Value Coupon Program. So when you go to farmers market and let's say you have WIC or food stamps, SNAP, whatever, that for every dollar you spend, you actually get 2 bags, so you can spend more. So the dollar is matched dollar for dollar. Short-term crisis housing at the tune of 2.5 million. And this is really for people who cannot self-isolate at home during the pandemic. And the Department of Family Services at 6.4 million. And you can see that because of this, these two agencies are really heavily dependent on, they're just heavily dependent on grants. And so domestic violence and human trafficking just lost almost a $200 million grant. So that's going to be hit hard. Intervention programs for at-risk youth. That to me is going to be really critical given legislation that I'm in the midst of proposing for regarding a gang database, enhancing veteran services, home visiting programs to reduce infant mortality. Infant mortality is a huge issue in our county, unfortunately. And as we continue, the foster care grandparents program has been highly successful for a long time, and we want to keep that going. In the multi-systemic therapy, taking a holistic approach to youth mental health. As we're also involved in the summer youth enrichment program. This year it will be done virtually for the most part, where 14 to 22-year-olds expand their job readiness to run for, and it's primarily run by Prince George's Community College. Proficient and transparent government. We have a recent fund. They want to be able to fund recent implementation of the, sorry, that's a typo, of the 311 on the go program, customer service request system. That's, we have a new immigrant affairs division under the Office of Community Relations. I feel while this is a positive step, I think this is not enough. I think that this area, this office needs to be a cabinet level position, and funding of the Office of Central Services to increase certification of county-based and county-located minority businesses. And the establishment of the new Office of Human Rights run by Renee Battlebrook, which is formerly the Office of the Human Relations Commission. So now we've taken that office out of the Office of Community Relations and elevated it to be its own office. In terms of capital projects in our district, I want to be able to say we are in a very good position. Just to give you a summary, we have been able, well, I can't show you everything today, unless you want to. We are in a position where we have been able to have $10 billion of development in the pipeline. The 9 new schools in construction, which you'll see here, and 2 new libraries that you will see here, as well as some other additional amenities that are coming down the pipeline. So going into that, the first one that's going to be delivered in terms of schools is Cherokee Lane Elementary School. And that is it was supposed to be an 18-month program, but it's taken a little longer. It will be provided. It's doubling in size to 846 students from the 400 students that it has now. And it will take our students in that school. And the completion for that school is slated to be June 2022. And then right now we've been, as you all know, in the district, we've had a little bit of a snafu with regards to swing space, with regards to Adelphi, as well as Hyattsville Middle. And we've been able to resolve the Adelphi Cherokee Lane situation. However, Hyattsville is still a little bit in the limbo phase. So the Adelphi area middle school situation, right now we're slated to construct 174,000 square feet school. And that's gonna be provided through the alternative construction financing to be delivered in 2024. Same thing with Adelphi Middle. Adelphi Middle, once the students move this fall, well, in May or June of this year, they will demolish the school and construction will start to be delivered by 2024. The thing is, we need to figure out where we're going to place the students. In the interim, though, Adelphi Elementary will be moving into Cherokee Lane. And then until we're able to get Cherokee Lane done, and then we're already starting to design the Northern Area High School. As you may or may not know, our district, the Northern Area Gateway, the Northern Gateway area does not have a high school at all. And so this would be the first high school constructed within our area, which is the most densest area in the county. And this would be 170,000 square feet with a capacity of 2,600 students. And we're already looking to design, but it's looking to be constructed by 2027. And that's just because Adelphi Elementary and Adelphi Middle, Adelphi Elementary will need to be at that at the old Cherokee building for 3 years until everything is settled. So in terms of Hyattsville Elementary, this is the only school we need to hustle for at this time. We need to make sure that it is in the second P3, and that still remains to be seen at this time. And so, but we will, I believe if we can continue to advocate as strongly as we have been, we will be in a good position. As I mentioned, Hyattsville Middle is already taken care of. And International School at Langley Park, this was a little bit of sensitive issue as well, but this school has been designed. Unfortunately, the price point came in a little bit too high. So we're going back to the drawing board until we could get a design that is a little bit more cost effective. And that's what we're working on with this particular site. But then the thing is that when you're not prepped and you're not on point and you're not on time with that particular issue, the thing is that the schools get bumped. And so this is a school that was entirely 100% in travel trailers. Now it's 50% in travel trailers. And so this is something that we're gonna need, once everything else with regards to the swing space issues are settled, we're gonna have to bring the school back on the radar. And as mentioned, the Adelphi Cool Spring, Adelphi is gonna be at Cherokee Lane until we can finish the construction to modernize and expand the capacity of this particular school so that we could join these two schools into one and merge them. And we already are putting $3 million into the fund this particular year, but this will be a $71 million program. And we look to finish this by June 2025. And then in High Point High School, we're looking to do a full, either a full renovation or replacement, but we're looking to do that in phases. So what's happening there is that until the Northern Area High School is constructed, we'll take kids from there, from High Point, send them to the Northern Area to alleviate the overcrowding in High Point. And then we'll be able to start construction because even though I don't agree necessarily with the fact that we will be constructing while the school students are in the building, I do believe that High Point does need to be renovated and addressed. And so that's going to be a big issue. In terms of parks, we've got a toolkit for placemaking, which was handed over to us for 2020, and we've set aside $700 to implement those improvement projects. We have the Adelphi Mill Historic Site that's being stabilized, and we are spending $1.4 million. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of this year. Urick Community Park, replacement of the turf, that's being done. We're setting aside $650,000 this year for that. And I believe, I don't know why they're saying December 2025, but I thought that we were going to be able to get it done a little sooner. There was something that was causing problems on that. Lane Manor Aquatic Center. They're looking to do some safety improvements that should be done hopefully by the end of next year. Same, and for Langley Park, the trail lighting, we should be done with this. We've set aside 500,000 and that money is there. So I thought we were in the permitting phase on this particular issue, but what I like about that, it was that we were supposed to, for this trail, we're doing a lighted trail. So it's incandescent, like it'll shine in the nighttime if you walk down the rocks. It's gonna be beautiful. Mount Rainier South Park, I'm gonna see if we could work closely with Luke Chesnick on this particular issue. And we've set aside 75,000 to help them with that. And Prince George's Plaza Community Center, I believe we finished we did the feasibility study for the 6th year, and we actually started having meetings about that, about the intergenerational facilities site. Right now we own the community center and we own the synagogue. So there is possibility for us to have a bigger building. And so that's, right now we've allocated 664,000. The Rhode Island Trolley Trail, well, I don't necessarily agree with how they obtained the money because it came from the Purple Line. So at this time, I respect that this was something that was already decided, and I decided to leave the money there for the trolley trail. This is an effort being led by the city, Senator Pinsky, and SHA. SHA is leading the discussion. Yet, again, I've tried to take part, but I haven't necessarily been involved in this particular issue, but I think we should have already been done with this by now. But it's June 2022 that we're supposed to hand this over. And Rolling Crest Aquatic Center, we should be done by that. We were done in December 2020 with this. Rolling Crest Chillum is happening this year, a renovation and expansion of 8,000 square feet. So we're really excited about that. When we started, we were like basically at 1 million, and now we're at 12 million. So I am like ecstatic at the fact that we're really bringing this amenity, an expanded amenity to Chillum. And that will be, once that's finished, we're gonna be able to do an amazing, amazing, amazing mural. If any of you have gone around to see some of the murals that we've been able to do in the community at Langley Park, at Cesar Chavez, at Louisdale, they're gorgeous. I mean, totally gorgeous. So it's, they're so thought-provoking. So yes, Hamilton Splash, we're gonna be doing safety improvements there, and those should be also finished by 2022. And we have about 1.2 million in the pot for that for this year. Like I mentioned, the Hyattsville Library, it's a new construction, 40,000 square feet. We're spending 800,000 this year, but I think all the money this is just the leftover money for the minor things that are gonna be needed at the end, but we're basically done this year. And so that's, the saucer is in place, everything is done, we're good to go. Langley Park Branch, again, we got 0 funds this year, which was highly upsetting. The new construction is at 40,000 square feet. There's been a lot of, let's just say, a little bit of contention on this, but we want to make sure that we deliver on this. And if we got to push, then we need to organize to push. And this is supposed to be delivered by June 2025. In terms of health, as mentioned, we are doing a new mental health facility. We've put in $20 million this year, and that's going to be delivered by June 2023 for the 16 beds. But the outpatient clinic will open up this fall, and you will be able to use it for full services. Homeless shelter is in the process of being designed, and this is to currently replace 61 bed emergency and transitional shelter. And they offer on-site employment, substance abuse services, and life training, skills training. And we've set aside about $100 million on that, and that should be delivered by June 2024. But I read somewhere that in one of the newspaper, I think it was in Patch, that I guess the community was pushing back on this particular issue. Just to give you a taste of some of the legislative priorities that I've had in terms of what I've been working on, looking for racial equity in not just in policing, but in policy making as well. Efficient residential parking program to improve and reduce some of the contention regarding parking. And we are getting the results from a parking district study, which we're looking to do, implement those recommendations, whatever comes out of that study. We're putting forth a Medicare for All resolution proposal. Tenant protections are going to be really critical. We already started. We capped how much anybody could raise rents. Yeah, and we were able to do. We're looking to do mental health and anti-hate. Well, an anti-hate and a mental health awareness resolution will be coming out, but on mental health, we'll be having mental health workshops all of May. And so we're going to be really excited about that. We're finishing working on medical cannabis zoning, minor amendments on the Gateway Arts District to allow for art studios within the RM18 zones. And we've got, I want to say easily, we've got about 20 other legislation pieces, but I just wanted to give you a taste for some of my main priorities this particular year. And obviously, like I mentioned, racial equity in policing as a package, requesting body cameras for every police officer, as well as a gang database bill. The third piece of that leg has already passed, which was the kind of like the Community Inclusiveness Act, which is similar to a sanctuary city policy at the county level. So we are getting things done. And I'm very proud of our legislative slate.